Fragment. What is a sentence fragment? Well, a fragment resembles a sentence in two ways. Both groups of words begin with a capital letter and conclude with an end mark, usually a period, but sometimes a question mark or an exclamation point. To have a sentence, you must have three things: a subject, which is a noun that's doing something, a predicate, that's a verb, which is an action being done by the subject, and a complete thought. If you are missing one of these three items, a fragment is the result. A sentence fragment looks like a sentence, but it's punctuated like a sentence, but it's not a complete sentence. If you are unsure about the term subject, predicate, or sentence, please go back and watch the Simple Sentences video or read the Simple Sentences document. Let's take a look at some examples of sentence fragments. Pause and think. What is missing from each fragment? Subject, predicate, or complete thought? Ate a great meal. Well, ate a great meal is missing a subject. We don't know who or what ate the meal. Or not is missing a subject and a predicate. If we think about it along with the complete sentence, we can go to the park. Or not, it is a complete thought. We know the person is saying that we don't have to go to the park. All the feels is missing who or what is doing something and what they're doing. It's missing both a subject and a predicate. I can't even. I can't even has a subject I and a predicate can't, but it's missing a complete thought. What is it that the person can't even? To think about non-examples of sentence fragments, let's see what happens when we take a fragment and revise it to be a complete sentence. Ate a great meal becomes we ate a great meal. We could add a number of different subjects to make that a complete sentence. I ate a great meal, she ate a great meal, the weekend ate a great meal. All of these subjects turn our fragment into a complete sentence. We have to add a lot more to or not to make it a complete sentence. It needs a subject and a predicate. Since this is closely related to the sentence before it, it makes sense to add the same subject and predicate. So we could say, we can go to the park, or we cannot go to the park. We also have to add both a subject and a predicate to all the feels. Who is doing something with the feels? What are they doing? Do they hate all the feels? Love all the feels? Well, we can add I and have to simply say, I have all the feels. Now we have a complete sentence. I can't even has the subject I and a predicate can't, but it's not a complete thought. To make this a sentence, we need to finish the thought. I can't even begin to express how mad that makes me feel. So why do authors use fragments? Authors make choices about how they use words because they want to affect the reader in a particular way. Authors often use fragments to emphasize ideas. Most of the time, authors write using complete sentences, so using a fragment once in a while will make the ideas captured in that fragment seem different and important to the reader. Is that really what you believe? Ridiculous. In this example, the author used the word ridiculous on its own to emphasize just how ridiculous the speaker thinks the other person's belief is. Authors also use fragments to create a conversational tone in their writing. When people speak to each other in normal conversation, they don't always speak in complete sentences. It's normal to speak in fragments, so authors often use fragments in dialogue to make it sound natural or in description when they want the writing to have a more casual tone or feeling. Should have known, it's raining. Should have known is a fragment, and it sounds like something we'd hear in everyday conversation. Using just a piece of a sentence, a fragment creates a quick, choppy rhythm in writing. Think about it like a car stuck in traffic that goes and stops quickly, goes and stops quickly. That quick stopping forces the reader's brain to stop, go, stop, go. It can increase the tension in the writing and emphasize feelings of excitement and anxiety. He stared at the bear. It was 20 feet from him and big. No, huge. In this last example, the author uses a fragment to quicken the pace of the writing and to emphasize the size of the bear. This writing is tense. So when you're using fragments to emphasize an idea, to create a conversational tone, or to create tension by speeding up the pace of the text, you use periods or other end punctuation to separate a word or group of words from other sentences. But when you're correcting unintentional fragments, you need to figure out what's missing. Subject, verb, complete thought. Then you add in the missing piece and punctuate the sentence with your end punctuation, period, question mark, or exclamation point. Okay, let's think about a STAR writing test. You will not have a separate writing exam, but you will see revising and editing questions on your reading STAR. In this example, the text in the question contains a sentence fragment, and the correct answer corrects the fragment. In revising and editing questions, it's likely that the fragments in a text or answer choice are not there for the author's craft reasons, so a correct answer would likely involve finding what's missing and making sure the correct answer has a subject, a predicate, and a complete thought. In this case, sentence 24 is missing a subject, but have been popular in other areas of the world. Who or what have been popular? Well, choice D adds the subject they to make it complete, but they have been popular. We can pay attention when we notice fragments in our reading. It's possible that an author included a fragment accidentally, but we should consider the possibility that the author included a fragment as an intentional craft move. Let's look at an example from The House on Mango Street. My great-grandmother. I would have liked to have known her, a wild horse of a woman, so wild she wouldn't marry. The author uses a fragment here to emphasize the person she's describing. The fragment calls the reader to pay attention to her great-grandmother. Let's look at another example. We've already seen part of this one. He could do nothing, think nothing. He stared at the bear. It was black with a cinnamon-colored nose, not 20 feet from him, and big. No, huge. This one was wild and much bigger than the one in the zoo, and it was right there. Right there. The two fragments emphasize the danger the narrator is in, and they quicken the pace of the text. When people are scared, they speak and think in short chunks, and the fragments help convey that fearful mood to the reader. So let's look at the STAR reading test. The reading STAR might not ask specifically about an author's use of fragments, but if we know that the author uses them for specific purposes, we can use that information to help us understand our reading and to help answer questions about what we read. So take a look at this question from the STAR reading. The question says, Noah's response to his mother's demand adds to the conflict by, and the answer is increasing the tension between Noah and his mother. In paragraph 6, the mom tells him to write, and he yells back, "Can I use the computer?" And then he looks around. Door, window, door, window. Those fragments emphasize his panic and increase the tension. And there you go. Choice A.